海外华人直播的朋友们，大家好，这里是海外华人直播，我们始终不办高声，我们力求直播传真。今天是2023年7月31号，我们在温哥华进行现场直播。今天我们邀请一位嘉宾，他是从非洲大陆来的 Nigeria， 他的名字 Hi, hello, could you introduce your name?
Hi there, my name is Muawiyah and I am from Nigeria.
Okay, sir, a lot of people come from Africa. You come here for what kind of status first?
I came here as a worker, so I came here under a work permit. I am a software engineer and I've been living here for a little over a year right now. And so far, yeah, it's been great being here.
Where you learn your computer science?
I study in India. Even though I was born in Nigeria and I was raised there, I did all my early studies there. But I travel outside to go to India, and that's where I get my bachelor degree in computer science from.
So you learn from Indian University, right?
Yes, from Indian University.
And then, what time you come to Canada?
I came to Canada beginning of middle of last year, so around the beginning of June, and almost around this time, the beginning of the summer. And it was great being there because the weather was good. It wasn't as cold as it usually is, because coming from Africa, the weather is usually hot. So, and then there comes the winter. So the winter was the most challenging part of me being here. It was very cold. The sun isn't out. It was super gloomy. But yeah, I made it through the winter and we are here. Another summer is here. So I'm very happy that it's summer right now.
Right now you work for which company?
I'm working for Microsoft right now.
You are as a software engineer, right?
Right.
What kind of work platform you use?
So I work as I'm working presently on a mobile app called Teams, which is a workspace software that allows people to collaborate. In most cases in an enterprise office, settings where you can exchange files, you can collaborate in so many things, projects, communicate, just end-to-end communication platform.
Okay, I see. There is a lot of application like this in the market, right? I heard in Vancouver there is a company also made this kind of software called Slack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Slack was kind of like out there before Teams before Teams become, like hot cake. But given that Microsoft has been an established company for a very long time, they have a leverage. They already have existing customers. So the fact that they created Teams, even though Teams came before Slack existed, right now I think Teams has the upper hand. So Microsoft used their existing, the existing partnership that they have with their customers, and through that, most of those customers, they adopt Teams. So right now, I think Teams is getting much more adoption, more than Slack.
I heard even in Vancouver elementary school, the teacher always used the Team or TeamViewer. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, you can literally use Teams for anything. Like it's a platform on which what you can do with it is endless. From teaching someone something virtually to collaborating with them, on documents. There is just no limit to it. So I think, during the pandemic, so many people realized that you cannot, there were so many lockdowns, schools were closed, offices were closed, so people are always at home. So that kind of like give Teams may be an advantage for it to be adopted by so many people. So many schools resort to teaching students virtually, and Teams was one of the platforms that allow people to do that. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if schools here are using it to teach students.
You are make a contribution to make a whole world different.
Yeah, I'm super excited to do that. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I was excited to join Microsoft, because you can work on like solutions that will be used by millions of people. So you are making a huge impact to millions, in some cases even billions of people.
What kind of language you use in the Microsoft? Use Python or C or C#? What kind of language do you use?
Yeah, so it depends on what kind of services you are building. Before moving here to Canada, I was also working for Microsoft back in Nigeria. Back then, we were using a language called C# and some other languages called TypeScript and Scala. It depends on the use case, what we wanted to achieve. But right now that I'm working on the mobile app, specifically the app I'm working on is to target the Android platform. So we are using Java and Kotlin.
Java and what?
Kotlin.
Kotlin, okay. Yeah. So I just wondering, Teams support any like a money system or not? For example, they can collect the money or pay the money, like support PayPal or any like a register and also collect the money stuff. Is any GUI or interface for the customers?
So I'm not sure if I fully understand the question. Are you maybe saying if you as an individual, you want to build something on top of Teams and you want to have an integration for someone to pay to use for what you are building?
Yeah, just like a
Does
teacher.
Teams support that?
Yeah, for example, teacher, someone subscribe the teacher's course, they can collect the money, for example. I just wondering.
Well, but because, from get-go, Teams is meant to be an enterprise application.
Oh, enterprise.
So it's not meant for, like individual consumer use. And usually enterprise companies, they'll just buy license from Microsoft. And then those enterprises, they will have, pre-existing applications that work on Teams that Microsoft offer, or they can create their own tailor-made Teams applications. So and usually when enterprises create an applications, they don't ask, their employees to pay for them, right? So in the case of Teams for education, usually it's the school that will buy the licenses and, like allow their students to access the Teams using those licenses. So I don't think there is a mechanism through which individual people can make payment. I'm not sure. I don't think that exists.
Okay. Now we are talking about your country. I'm wondering of what kind, a lot of people have a different religion. Most people in your country, they are Muslim or Christian.
Yes. So like already stated, I'm from Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. The population is about 220. I know that's just maybe like one state in China, but it's huge in Africa. Because the entire African continent, it's maybe 1 billion people. And we have 56 countries in Africa. I think 54, not 56. So 1 in every 5 people from Africa is from Nigeria. So we have a lot of population there. And that population is kind of like 50-50, 50% Muslims and 50% Christians. We have the northern part of Nigeria is predominantly Muslims. It's like 80% Muslim. And the southern part is like 70 to 80% Christian. And that's because the northern part was very close to the sub-Saharan Africa. So they have already, they have exposure to Arabic people, through trades, and through that, they learn the Arabic way. They pick up the Arabic language and the Arabic scripts. So they use it to write and they also adopt the Islamic tradition and culture. So that's how they became Muslim. So at the southern part, they were close to the coast. And when the British were coming, they usually come through the waters. So they met the southern people first. And the southern people, they don't have any like existing religion. So they adopt the Christianity from the British people. Even though the British people were able to amalgamate these two different cultures together, the northern part still hold on to their own Islamic traditions and religion. So they didn't adopt the Christianity from the British people. So that's why to this day, if you go to Nigeria, you will observe two different cultures, two different way of life, the northern part and the southern part.
What these countries, like a GDP, come from? From agriculture or from industrial or from for what kind of business?
As of right now, I think 90% of the gross income of Nigeria is crude oil. And so Nigeria is the sixth most highly, like the country that produces oil the most in the world is number 6, that exports crude oil. So most of Nigerian income is through crude oil right now. It used to be in the past, through agriculture, through coal, and some other minerals, but right now it's just mainly oil.
I watched the Western TV, and they said another business, like a 409 scammer, that's like the business. Is that true?
Can you come again?
Like a 409 scammer, basically like a scam, like a fraud.
So it's something called 419. It's a code. Oh. It's a criminal code from Nigerian, code.
So area code or I don't know.
So it's the law. Usually every single country, they have their own criminal code, right? Okay. So the code for internet crime is 419.
Oh, internet
it's
crime.
419 in Nigeria.
Okay.
And yeah, so not just Nigeria. There are a lot of internet fraudsters, out of West Africa. And in most cases, what happens is there are a lot of smart people, not just in Nigeria, but other West African countries as well. And usually because they are very smart and they don't have access to, basic livelihood, they resort to crimes. Okay, they will resort to doing internet scam to scam people. Yeah, I mean, the Nigerian government is really doing a lot to crack down on those kind of crimes. But yeah, you have a lot of young people that are very smart, and they don't have a means to basic livelihood. In some cases, they cannot even afford to finish education. They just maybe have the basic education. They cannot complete a bachelor degree or something beyond that. And they don't have their parents taking good care of them. They don't they don't have any hope for the government. They don't believe that the government can do anything for them. So they will just resort to doing crimes.
One of my friends, she even fall in love with the scammer.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. I think that's the most awful part of it. Yeah, I mean, it's not a good representation of our people, but it just shows you that those are really very smart people. They just, Benjamin Franklin says, basically, what you can get by fooling someone, you can also get it by just working hard. They have the smartness, they can put it to good use, but because they didn't have a proper guidance, they are putting it to a bad use. So what they need is a proper guidance and good access to, all the basic things that everybody has, especially here in the Western part of the world. And one thing to add is, for some reason, there are really criminals everywhere. There are scammers everywhere. Okay? Yeah, there are scammers coming out of Nigeria, but those scammers are very few. But people, they will think, oh, all Nigerians are scammers. No, it's just few. Okay? And you shouldn't paint the whole Nigerians with a single brush because of the few scammers you have heard of. So yeah, that's just one thing I will add. There are a lot of hardworking Nigerians. The richest person in Nigeria is from Africa is Nigerian. if you look at the list of richest people in Africa, most of them are from Nigeria.
I'm very glad to meet a young, smart Nigerian young man as an engineer, also work at Microsoft, this great company. We hope next time we can have an opportunity to interview you again, okay?
I'll be happy to, yeah. So
Okay, bye-bye.
ciao, bye-bye.